Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I want to wish you a happy Sunday night. Should be resting and ready for tomorrow. I wanted to jump on and continue to talk about symptoms, MS symptoms. And as I am talking about them, I was just preparing for this. So I'm like looking all over for my phone, which is where I write down my best notes. Excuse me. Um, let's talk. Let's talk about what we started to talk about yesterday. Hi, everyone. What we started to talk about yesterday, or did a lot of talking about, was this massive list we have here of of MS symptoms. And we talk about speech problems, spasticity, fatigue, walking difficulties, numbness, vision problems, dizziness, and varico, bladder and bowel issues, pain, swallowing problems, emotional changes, itching, and breathing problems. And if you were on last night, you also heard that we were talking about optic neuritis, which is a symptom of multiple sclerosis. And we were praying for some of the people who were on with us. We had a grandmother who was talking about her grandson, Caleb. And we were praying a lot and just kept each other in thought when it came to the list of symptoms that we have when talking about multiple sclerosis, but not only the list of symptoms, but the diagnosis itself and what it takes and the amount of time it takes, depending on the doctor and the doctor you're going to. But I want to be specific about the symptoms today because we talked a lot about them. And I talked about what I go through dealing with some of them. I know Anthony was here and he talked about drop foot, that he has drop foot in both of his feet, unfortunately. And I have drop foot in my right foot. But we didn't really talk about how to deal with some of these symptoms, how to deal with them outside of the box. Outside of the box, because sometimes you just have to think about ways that you can get through whatever symptom you're dealing with at the time. So I'm just going to start again at the list, on this list, and talk about some of the things that I do to get through. Let's begin with speech problems. And I hope you're thinking about times that you might go through some of these symptoms. When it comes to speech problems, I would say that you want to be open with whomever you are speaking to at the time. If you are on the phone with someone asking for asking for directions, speaking to someone maybe who, say you're talking to a pharmacist, say you're talking to a receptionist, say you're speaking to someone who is doing ordering for you, whatever reason you're on the phone. I have found it easier to explain that, I have multiple sclerosis. I might need you to slow down a little bit for me so I can explain where I'm coming from. I might come right out and say, I have difficulty finding words. And it may sound like I am not paying attention when I'm discussing something with you, but that it's not really the case. Just give me a second and get everything together. I've actually had people thank me for being so open about what I have so that they can adjust the way they are speaking to me and the information they're giving me and how fast that information is coming out. So, if you're having speech problems, processing issues, any cognitive issues, be open about it. Don't be embarrassed about the issues you're having because of the illness. You didn't do anything wrong. It's not your fault. And it is probably best to let someone know exactly what it is you're dealing with. People are people are willing to help if you let them know you need help. Spasticity issues. When I have spasticity issues, I always seem to want to stretch anyway. I think the best thing you can do for spasticity issues is to be consistent with stretching. Do it do it maybe three times a week. Have a stretching routine. It's just like having an exercise routine. The only way that you're going to see results is if you stick with it. The same goes with having to make sure you're not having so many spasticity problems. Make sure that your muscles are loose enough that it's not impacting you. I do want to say though, I went outside in the cold because I'm still in Indianapolis, and I had spasticity problems in my left leg, which always makes me cringe because it's the leg that I actually focus on. I call it, it's the one that is there for me and that I trust. My right leg tends to give out on me, or I have problems with drop foot in my right leg. If you're having spasticity problems because of weather, if you feel like things are just cramping up because of that, make sure that you're doing the exact opposite when you're in the house. I have this blanket that's in the house, and it's a throw, but it's a heating blanket as well. So I'm keeping my legs warm. But we know with multiple sclerosis that heat tends to fatigue us, tends to work against us. So you want to make sure that it's not something that you're putting on too high of a temperature. So with spasticity, make sure that you're going through stretching, make sure you're consistent with it. Fatigue is next. Fatigue. I want to say fatigue, fatigue, fatigue. It is not our friend because we usually want to sleep all of the time because of the fatigue. I'm going to be honest, I did a little reading on this. They're saying to sleep. Sleep. When you feel fatigued and you feel like you needed that added rest, take that time to rest. I know I've had problems with this because I feel like I'm losing my whole day sometimes, but maybe there's just something we don't know. Maybe it's saying take the time to rest because if you don't, it's just going to catch up to you and it's going to be worse later. So I have come to the point where when I'm fatigued, I go ahead and close my eyes, even if sometimes I'm taking a 20-minute power nap. If when I wake up after that 20 minutes, I'm still tired, I go ahead and probably extend it to an hour. And if I wake up before the hour, fine. You want to make sure that you're giving your body what it needs. And when it's fatigued, it needs to rest. It just does. And it's okay to rest because whether or not we want to admit it or not, multiple sclerosis is a an illness. We have to pay attention to what's telling us. So I definitely say go ahead and take rest when you do feel fatigue. Walking difficulties. Had it today. And actually, when I was first diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I was having numbness, which is after walking difficulties on my list. But as far as walking difficulties were concerned, yeah, you're going to have to go to your help aids. We have to use our help aids because you don't want to get to the point where you fall, make a situation worse. I've told you guys I had a fall about 20 days ago, and I've made it worse for myself. It's taken a long time to get over that tailbone injury or the L4 and L3 of my spinal cord. It takes a lot. So we have to be willing to take the help as it is there. I had a rollator today. Yesterday, I had a walker. And when I'm in the house or in a space that's not so large, where I don't want to use maybe a rollator, I hold on to walls. I I hold on to them. I just walk near the wall. I might have my hand up at the wall, so I'm catching myself if it's necessary. I don't have to. I'm not going to go out into the garage and walk across the garage to get to the driveway and not have anything with me, like a cane or even my rollator. So, definitely, if you're having walking difficulties, at the least, make sure that you're walking next to a wall, you have your hand on the wall, you're walking along it. At the most, if you need a wheelchair, use the wheelchair. But there are other help aids, the rollator and the cane, and anything that can help you up breaks at times. Um, as far as numbness is concerned, some of you ladies might actually really like this because I have found that if I am consistent, keep up with getting massages, that it makes a difference in the blood flow. Now, I have to do it consistently. So, I have a friend who gets one once a week. I might get one once a month, but when I was able to get it every 2 weeks, it helped me to get massages because it kept my blood flowing better. Numbness comes at different times. If you're someone who's here and watching because you have a loved one who has multiple sclerosis, that numbness isn't exactly always that they just can't feel in the limb, but that prickly feeling that you get when you're seated and you've sat for so long and your legs just don't want to let you get up or your foot has fallen asleep. That sometimes is the numbness that we speak of. Sometimes that can actually just last in any of the extremities, whether it be your legs, your foot, and that is what we're talking about numbness. So it's not that we totally cannot feel at all times. Sometimes it's just that in between. So for that, you can look, it's the trusted blanket over here, but you might want to take a heating pad. You might want to take a cold pad or ice. I can't stand ice on me. I have a real hard time with my heat resistant. I'm heat resistant and cold resistant. It's not good. But I know I am. So ice packs I don't like, but I don't mind uh, a hot pad, a heating pad. That can help as well. Sometimes, again, just like the spasticity, and you need to do it consistently. You want to make sure that with the numbness that you have something that's going to kind of wake up your hand. Sometimes you just have to wait it out. Sometimes, let's be honest, you're just going to have to wait it out, and that's okay. Be patient with yourself. Always be patient with yourself. So we come to vision problems. We talked a lot about optic neuritis yesterday, and optic neuritis, depending on who you are, we talked to a lady yesterday. Hi, Erin. Erin said she was diagnosed with in October of 2020, and oh, but you were also diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Um, that is a great question. Do I suffer with any other diagnoses? I have high blood pressure. I had high blood pressure before I had MS, and I suffered with depression and suffered with depression before I had multiple sclerosis. So those were my two diagnoses. I did struggle with trigeminal neuralgia for a good 2 to 3 years. I tend to think it was because of the MS. My doctor said it wasn't because of the MS, but he has an MD. I don't, so I will hear him. But I really thought it was because of the MS. So I've heard that a lot of people, usually when they have one chronic illness, that they at least have another one. And that's hard to understand and even get my mind wrapped around, and I'm sure yours as well, that we have to deal with two or more. But yeah, so I do have the other diagnoses. And I'll be honest with even with this list and talking about vision problems is the next one. I always blame everything on the MS. It is always my go-to. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing as far as doctors are concerned, but I know that there are so many things that the MS can do. I mean, that list of symptoms that I have there, if I can figure out, no, you're not going to be able to see it. I think it's a glare on here, but that's a long list that I'm talking about symptoms for MS, and it's probably not all the symptoms. So the vision problems I know of, optic neuritis, I know I've heard them say that blurriness and double vision a lot, and that as you get older, you know how your sight you tend to have to wear glasses. I have to wear reading glasses now, but I'm starting to see that my eyes are really suffering. So I'm thinking that I might have to go to something more than reading glasses and get prescriptions. But I will say that with the optic neuritis, when when I went to read the eye chart at the DMV, I actually could not see when I covered this eye, I could not see the letters. And I had to go to my doctor for them to know that it was okay for me to drive, because if I have both eyes, I can see fine. It was just on their testing that I could not see it. And anxiety, yeah, blame it on MS. Hey, it's a heart disease, so I'm thinking it has the shoulders to carry it. But depression and anxiety, I actually talk a lot about depression and anxiety because I feel like I've been able to cope with it pretty well, and we'll be talking about that as well. I think you were on when I said we're going to talk about relationships. So depression, anxiety, relationships, all things MS, because we're humans. So it's not we have to deal with all things MS. MS is going to have to deal with all things us. And we have jobs, we have family, we have friends. So we're just going to learn how together. I'm going to talk to everyone about what I've learned in the past 23 years, or oh my gosh, or 30 years of having MS. Because to be honest, they just didn't know what they were talking about. But when you say it looks to be MS, but we'll just keep an eye on it. Okay. So it looks to be MS because you have lesions on your brain, but they didn't do anything for 7 years. And I understand now, and I'm okay with them. But we're going to talk about all things having to deal with life and having to deal with it having MS. So, as far as the vision problems are concerned, make sure that your doctor is willing to back you up when it comes to driving, when it comes to when you're going to have to get readers and when you're going to have to get prescriptions, that they back you up and let others know that it's not anything that you can't do something because of the optic neuritis. Both of your eyes together will there it's going to allow you to be able to do what you need to do. And as long as I had that doctor's note, it was fine. As far as being around other people, sometimes again, you're just going to have to go ahead and let people know, this is what I'm dealing with right now. And I'm okay to drive. And if they're not okay with you driving or okay with you, to me, there aren't many things vision problems can keep us from doing. But if they want to use it as an excuse, it's okay. Let them walk away. And I mean, I was always fine just driving by myself. If you don't feel safe with me, it might be better that you're not in the car. So I'm kind of picky about that anyway. Dizziness and vertigo. Okay, how I deal with this. You have to be really careful. Be very careful because I started getting lightheaded a lot. It's happened within the past year. And depending on where I am, I've gone to Major League Baseball games last year. And, you're walking down those stairs, and to get lightheaded or dizzy at that point is scary. It's really scary. I let the person know whoever I'm with, I let them know that I'm lightheaded or if I'm dizzy. When I was having verico, I sat down. I sat down right where I was. I happened to be at home. I was in the kitchen and everything else was moving. And then I just let my mom know what was going on. And it wasn't anything else I was willing to do or that I felt like I could do. But the only way to stay safe for myself was to make sure that I was not moving and that I was on the floor because I didn't want to hit the floor. If I fall, I'm going to hurt myself more. So I sat down. Another thing about vertigo, it makes you feel dizzy and that you're off balance. I close my eyes, and yes, you can still kind of feel like the room's still moving, but I close my eyes because I need to some way, somehow get some type of control back. And I feel like if I'm closing my eyes, that I don't have to concentrate on everything else that feels like it's moving. So definitely be careful. Let the person that you're with know that you're feeling dizzy or lightheaded. And if it is vertigo, you're going to want to stay as low to the ground as possible or lay down in bed if you're at home. Um, the next one, bladder and bowel issues. I said yesterday, make sure that if you're out, that you just know where the restroom is. I think I've also learned don't wait till the last minute. This is kind of a pet peeve of mine because I cannot stand public restrooms. I just can't. And I always want to say, oh, I can wait till I get home. Don't worry about it. We'll be home in 8 hours. But I kind of think that way to myself, like, I don't want to go to a public restroom. So when I'm with my friends, I'm able to, kind of see whether or not they think the bathroom is okay. So I'll let them go first and I'll be like, so is it clean? Is it disgusting? Should I just wait till I get back to a hotel or wait till I get back home? Girls are really good about that. If I'm with my boyfriend, I pray that when he goes into the male restroom and he comes out and says, oh, it's fine. It should be fine in there. I pray that he's right. And that's all I can do. But always know where the bathroom is. Give yourself that, just give yourself that, look, I'm losing words. Trust yourself that you will know where it is. Once you know where it is, then you are not going to feel, scared about any accidents or any bladder problems or bowel issues because you'll know how to get to that bathroom quick enough. Hi, Marcellus. Marcellus, you are in Detroit, I believe, and you were diagnosed with MS January 2021, and you have narcolepsy. So there are many days that you're very fatigued. Probably, I, I'm going to say this, and I hope it does not sound wrong. Get as much rest as possible because that's the only way when we are up one day and you don't feel like you're fatigued all the time, when you have as much rest as possible, you'll be able to stay the course. You know, you'll be able to be up and enjoy that day even better because I fight really hard about the fatigue and I never want to take the time to get rest and I have to talk myself through the point. But if you get rest, Roxanne, how much better is the next day going to be? So if you are struggling with fatigue, as we talked earlier, you want to make sure that you get that rest. And I actually read that where they were saying if you have MS and you feel fatigued, then take the time to get that rest. And I always want to say is easier said than done, but I've had those days where I took the rest the day before, and the next day maybe my nieces and my nephew came over, and that would be they're about to be 4 and 5, and then the other one is 8. So when they come over, of course I need to be rested. So I always say thank you God when I've gotten rest because I'm able to play with them and keep up with them. So take the rest as needed. Um, Bladder and bowel, make sure that you know where the restroom is. And pain. Depending on the pain that you're having, and I know Erin, you mentioned fibromyalgia, and I'm not sure the type of pain that is, but I have a friend and a sister who struggle with that, and they do say that the pain is there. You're welcome, Marcellus. Um, I would say with the pain, it really depends on the pain that it is, the type of pain. Um, I told you about the trigeminal neuralgia, and trigeminal neuralgia is a nerve pain. And I remember going to the hospital. I went from being in a hospital in Augusta, and we traveled down to Charleston. I went to the hospital there, and they wanted to give me Oxycontin. And they probably were so surprised because I was so mad. I was like, this is not working for me. I said, I know it's your guys' go to, but I need something for pain. And the ER doctor happened to know that the neurologist was still there. And they said to give me gabapentin, which did help a little bit with the nerve pain. It helped much more than Oxy did. And you have to be able to advocate for yourself. Just like that, where when I was like, you guys just want to give people what you want to give them. You want to give me Oxy, you want to give me steroids, you want to give me, I need something for the pain. And it depends on which type of pain you have. I've had dull pain, I've had um, sharp pains, nerve pain. Nerve pain is the worst. And I will admit that I have different medicines for all of them. And I don't always know if it's working because some of them just put me to sleep. And I tend to think that the doctors just want you to go to sleep so you stop complaining about the pain. But there are medicines out there that will help with pain. Like I said, the gabapentin really helped me. The carbamazepine that I was on for the trigeminal neuralgia, that was a godsend. So you have to be able to advocate for yourself, tell your doctor what kind of pain you're in, how many, keep a journal about when you are in pain, how long the pain lasts, what type of pain it is. Make sure you have the notes in there that's saying, is it because of the weather outside? Is it because I didn't get enough sleep? Is it because I slept on the wrong side? Sometimes when I sleep, I promise I think that if I'm sleeping on the right side too much, I get this god awful nerve pain lately in my right arm. And I actually had to message my doctor's office about it because it was that bad. And I couldn't stand it. Every time it would come, I just felt like I need to rest my arm, like as if I had it in a cast or a spring. I think I said that wrong, but a sling, or if I had it in a sling. So I just know you have to advocate for yourself and know what that pain is. Swallowing problems. I talked about this yesterday because of eating, but I am going to tell you that I had another problem with swallowing today. And Aaron said, you said for you, it hurts every joint, even my fingers. I had finger pain, hand pain the other day, and I didn't even think about it being the MS. I am also very sensitive on my chest. I can't take any pressure. Huh. I'm in a lot of pain. Hmm. I think of you. I'm thinking of you right now because I'm like, what can relieve that? I wonder, and again, I think I need to put this up on any of the pages. I'm not a doctor. I'm just thinking back to things that I have done. And I think people with MS just try to give hints. If you go to support groups, we kind of try to give each other hints of what we've done before. But what is it called? I'm about to call out the door to my sister. Some kind of salt. I'm sure it will come to me. It'll come to me really soon because these it's the powder that goes in the bathtub, and you can use it for pain. They usually tell people to take it like if their muscles hurt and things like that. And I'm about to go and call my sister. Julie, what is that stuff you put in the tub if you're in pain? Like what is it? That's it. Thank you. See, I told you I was going. Yes, you. See, I should have just held off for you to have that, Aaron. Yes, Epsom salt. She just said that too. Epsom salt. I don't know if that works for you. A lot of people swear by it. Yeah, Epsom salt. Thank you guys. A lot of people swear by it. I have also sat in that before because of pain, and it did help me. It helped me enough that I have done it before or again. I've done it several times. It's not like it was one of those things that I was like, oh, okay, that didn't work. It did help me. It helped to relax me. Um, I would think about that and lavender. Hmm. Robert Robaxin. I haven't heard of that. I'm going to have to look that up. I'm putting it in my phone as a note. Okay. Is that a pill, Marcellus? Vaccine. Okay. I'm going to look that up. I have not tried that. I have not tried that. I don't know if Aaron has, but I will look that up and see what that is. But definitely advocate for yourself. Aaron, I would call the doctor or okay, it is a pain med. I've never taken that. I haven't even had anybody bring that up to me. So it's always good to have other medicine names just in your vocabulary. And so you can say to a doctor, well, how's this? Do you think something like that would work for me? I would do that. I know that on my chart, you can send your doctor a message. And I don't know if you have that, Erin. I would send it on my chart and just let your doctors know that every joint hurts and that you even feel pressure in your chest. And you haven't taken anything at all yet? That's right. You said you were diagnosed. Let me go back up in October, right? Yeah, you were diagnosed. Oh, but you were diagnosed October 2020. That was around COVID. If you see your doctor or if you're able to get on something called My Chart, I would let them know because there's medicine out there for pain, especially with MS. And Marcellus has mentioned the Robaxin, Robaxin. I know that I've taken Neurontin that's helped me with my nerve pain. Carbamazepine is a little stronger, so I don't know when doctors will suggest that. I know that I mentioned the trigeminal neuralgia, and they actually have coined trigeminal neuralgia like the suicide disease because the pain is that bad, which it is that bad. Okay. Oh my gosh, okay. Okay, and you take Avonex. You take Avonex for MS, but Avonex is to slow down your progression. It's one of those medicines that, don't get me to lying, because I know that they have all these words for the different types of medicines, but I took Avonex as well, and it's supposed to help with slowing down the progression of the illness. So that is not going to take care of your nerve pain or any pain you're having. If you're having nerves or dullness, pressure on your chest, any of that, you said your joints. Yeah, I would really suggest letting your doctor know. And also, I know doctors are, yeah, cast me out. However, their nurses are so awesome. And let one of the nurses know, let the doctor's nurse know that you are having a lot of trouble with pain. And depending on what doctor it is, some of these doctors, it takes forever to get in to see them. I know the first time that I was trying to see the neurologist in Charleston, it was up to 9 months. And now I'm on this steady rotation of seeing him. But even this last time, I was supposed to see him in 6 months, and they couldn't put me out until 9 months. So I would definitely put in my chart, call the doctor. When you get the receptionist, ask to speak to their nurse, Erin, because Avonex is to slow down the progression, is for long term slowing down of the progression. And you're in pain and fibromyalgia, I would let that doctor know as well. But I don't know what pain comes with fibromyalgia, but there is something that they should be able to do with it. And these are pains that Tylenol is not going to do, anything for that. Oh, okay. I thought I saw pressure. Oh, you said it doesn't hurt all the time. It's when someone pokes you or pushes you on your chest. My doctor says she believes you have fibromyalgia. Yeah, I would definitely make sure that your neurologist, the doctor that diagnosed you with MS, knows of every single one of those symptoms that you are saying right now. And it's nothing against the doctor that said fibromyalgia, but I would tell them that too. I am okay, Marcellus, you are on Tysabri. I'm also on Tysabri for MS. And that, again, Erin, is one of those infusion medicines. I was on the shot first off, the Avonex. When I was first diagnosed, they gave me Avonex. And I have been taking Tysabri for about a year now. And that is an infusion. dealing with the pain, yeah, definitely ask because you don't need to have to deal with the pain. If they can get rid of that, there and because there are so many other symptoms to multiple sclerosis, I would hope that they would definitely get that under control. Um, Ty Sabri, we have Avonex and the Robaxin. So I don't know what medicine for pain or what they're going to do for you, but I'm hoping that they do something for you right away, Aaron. Bladder and bowel issues. We're talking about pain right now, so yeah, it depends on the medicine. Hopefully, depending on nerves, whether or not it's a sticking pain, a sharp pain, a dull pain, whatever that is, they'll know what to give to you, but keep after them. Keep after them. Swallowing problems. I said yesterday that I had swallowing problems while I was eating. And today I was actually at my niece's recital and just choked on my saliva, just choked, and had to very quickly kind of like just close my eyes and think to myself, please don't end up coughing. And all these kids are up here playing these instruments. And I was able to swallow correctly, or at least swallow enough where I did not end up having to cough a whole lot. Be careful with what you eat, how much water you take in, or liquids you take in all at once while you're drinking. Um, it tends to come in in waves, or every once in a while it comes in inopportune times when I'm in front of a lot of people and I struggle with it, but yeah, I struggle with it, but I deal with it when it happens in the moment. And sometimes when I might swallow wrong and drink water wrong, and I have to take the time to stop, gather myself before I'm drinking more water to clear my throat. Be very careful with that. I've heard some people also have problems when they're eating food. Emotional changes. This is really a hard one because they've already said a symptom of MS is depression. And I said earlier that I actually had depression before I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So I struggled with anxiety and with depression. But then you have those emotional changes, and looking back on it, I can see where I've had that struggle of like getting mad a lot at things that really don't seem like they're that big of a deal. And I just thought it was me because I would go from 0 to 20 really quick and just have these up and down emotions. I never really thought that it could have been the MS. I just thought it was me being depressed. But it does say that you will go through emotional changes, like it says with MS, and I think that's partly what we're dealing with. When you're dealing with MS in general, just the MS, but it's actually saying that no, that is a symptom. So we have to take time to check and see what we can do for self-care for for you. What can you do to take care of yourself? What do you do to take time out for yourself? I had never I have never been on as many vacays as I had last year. Last year I believe I went out of town 6 times and it was wonderful. I would have also always thought that it would make me anxious getting on the plane. And it's not because I don't like to be on a plane. It's because I have to get through to this gate and go down on the plane train in Atlanta and have to go to this and all the getting off and all that. But yeah, I see Marcella said that he suffers from depression and anxiety as well. And I think just with what we have to deal with, even when I'm dealing with something like being going on a trip, the moment I enter the airport, I'm anxious because, well, I'm not as fast as everyone else is. And what if I'm going to miss the plane? And what if all those different things that are going through my head. And then you have to add on it having to go to baggage claim and having to get on the plane train and having to get to the gate. And I'm already struggling with the walking, and I have to make sure I go to the bathroom. You have to be able to pace yourself. You have to be able to have self care enough for yourself to pace yourself because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Yes, it is another city by itself, Atlanta Airport. I was blown away when somebody said it's a zip code on its own. And I was like, seriously, it's crazy. But just to let you know, do take those accommodations. Each of the airlines have something where you could say that you need to be have someone wheel you from gate to gate, or if they need to wheel you from the gate down to the airplane. I don't go to the airport without being able to check in at the counter and say, I need a wheelchair, no matter how I feel, because we know MS is just going to surprise us anyway. And I would hate for me to think, oh, I'm feeling wonderful today. I think I can walk the airport. And then all of a sudden feel like I can't. In fact, I did that. I did that 2 years ago, coming to Indianapolis from Charleston with my little niece. She was 6. And I thought, oh, I just have to go to that gate. I don't need a wheelchair. I needed a wheelchair trying to get to the right gate. So make sure that you do take those accommodations. Let's see here. Look, my phone was messing with me. Okay, itching. We have 3 more. Or we have 2 more. Itching. I would say this is going to seem like I'm kind of not taking it seriously, which is wrong because I've had it before. I would start by making sure that you have enough lotion or oil. Make sure that your skin isn't dry because you don't need the added attention. If your skin is dry and you come on one of those times when your skin feels like it's crawling or you're getting that itching sensation, you feel like something is on you. Sometimes it's just a matter of having to sit there and see that it's not. But if it's itching, sometimes it'd be better just to rub it down with the lotion. It'd be better to rub it down with oil. And that is going to be the best thing that you can do for that because you're basically itching and there's scratching and there is no reason for it. You could see that everything is fine. Why am I so itchy? You're going to have to deal with it by putting on lotion, putting on oil, just taking a time to just rub your legs at that time if it's happening to you on your legs, if it's happening to you on your arms, wherever. So it's just something you're going to have to make sure that you have different things available to you. I have all my always talk about my Bath and Body Works. I have all that stuff and the lotions and the oils, and that just helps me. And then things aren't as bad. Yes, and Gold Bond. Gold Bond is wonderful. The thickest lotion out there. So Gold Bond would help a lot. Yes. And then breathing problems. It's the last one on the list. Breathing problems can be scary because sometimes it's when you feel like you can't take deep enough breath. Sometimes you can't catch your breath, but you have to make sure that you don't get yourself too excited and worried or anxious. You have to be able to take a breath and calm down. So, do some breathing exercises. Breathing when you're breathing in for a count of 4 and then out quickly for a count of 5. Do some breathing exercises. They have them all over Pinterest, of course, and you can look them up on Google as well. I like the breathing exercises that I do to go to sleep at night at times. Those help. I will also say the Calm app. The Calm app is really good at those breathing exercises, but you can also find them on YouTube or on Google, and they have them as well. We have to make sure that we take care of ourselves, guys. And we're going to definitely talk more about self care and all the things that we can do to make sure that we are putting ourselves first because the MS likes to think that it's the priority, but you're the priority. And then we're taking care of the MS. So be sure to get in touch with your doctor, Erin, because we want to make sure that you're well and that they're taking care of you and advocate for yourself. And Marcellus, we are going to check on Robaxin. I think I actually said it right for the first time on this call. But I want you all to have a great day. Thank you. I'm glad to meet you, Marcellus. Please feel free to come back, and I will be on with you all again tomorrow, probably a little earlier. 7 o'clock ended up late for me. And as you all know, it's most likely the MS, but I'm kind of scared. Might be age too. So I'll be on a little earlier, probably in the afternoon. So everyone take care, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.